Okay, in this example, we're going to learn to calculate interest for various different loan scenarios. So we're going to look at this question here where we've got $15,000 being taken out as a loan, 8% per annum, paying $350 per month, and then after 6 months, doubling their repayments. So the first part is pretty straightforward, the first 6 months at least. So we'll call that part 1. We need to work out exactly what amount was owing at the end of part 1. So if we open up our finance solver and we put 6 as our time value there, 8%, the principal value was 15,000 and the payment amount is 350. That's going to be negative. And we put the PPY and the CPY as 12 because it's a monthly scheme. And then we leave FV as blank, and that will tell us how much is owing at the end of the first part. So I'm just going to copy that into our workings. Okay, so the answer for that part, 13,000 left. Okay, now part 2, this is still to answer question A. Part 2 of the loan is the remaining period. Now we don't know how long that is, but we know that it's double the repayment. So instead it's going to be $700 per month. So we're going to go back to this now. We're going to copy the FV into the PV box because that's our starting amount for this second part of the loan. We're going to get rid of the negative sign because it's money that we still technically have. And we're going to put FV as 0 because we want to get that final future value to 0. And now we're going to use this to work out what N is with this new setup. Oh, sorry, but first of all, we've got to change the payment to $700 per month. So, with this new setup, $700, it's going to take 20.67 more payments. So, that's not a very round number, and so I'll show you how to work out exactly what the final payment is in a moment. So it's going to take 20.67 more payments. So a total, if you add the two up, of 20.67 plus 6 gives you 26.67 payments. Now, you can't have 0.6 of a payment. The way the bank works is the final payment, even though it's only 0.6 of a normal payment, will be taken as just a smaller one. So you'll actually do 27 payments. So you'll find in these questions, you always round up for the value of the number of payments because you have to do a whole number and you can't do less than is required because the bank will want their money at the end of the day. So 27 payments total. So remember to round up for N in those questions. Alright, for part B, they're asking us how much less interest would there be paid overall by doubling their repayments. So that's as opposed to continuing with the $350 per month and taking longer to pay it off. So how much money are they saving by speeding up their repayments? And this is a common question that someone might ask when they're paying off a mortgage. If they started earning more money, for example, is it worth them paying it off quicker? And the answer most of the time is yes, if the interest rates are high enough. If the interest rates aren't too high, then maybe not. So the way we're going to work this out is by the simple formula of interest equals the total payments minus the principal value at the beginning. So the way we're going to work this is working out all the total payments first of all. Now we've got scenario 1, which we doubled the payments. Scenario 1, and we're going to have to add up everything from that. So we've got 6 times the payment of $350. Then we've got 20 times the payment of $700. And then we've got final repayment. So we're going to have to work out what that is now. So we're going to use our calculator to do that. So the way we do this is we get the 20.67 and we just delete the decimal part. So it's just 20. And we find out where the balance is after the 20th payment. So we're starting from the 6th month mark here where we had 13,000 left, and we're going to press enter. And so we had 466 left to pay off. So that's less than a normal payment. So that's all we're going to have to sort of worry about at the end of the loan. So if we just paste that in there, that's the final bit left. And then what we do is we work out the final repayment by copying, Control-C, pasting, Control-V, that into the future principal value box. And then in the final future value box, we put 0. We change the payment, so this is just in one payment now, and we delete PMT. So what this will do is literally work out how much 8% interest is in 1 month on this principal, and turn it into a payment. So if I hit enter, it's going to need $469 to repay the loan on the final payment. So remember, the bank will always charge a tiny bit of extra interest right at the end just to get their last bit of interest. So that's what that whole process is about. So the final payment is that there. Value, and we put it in for the principal value, removing the sign. And then the PMT, that's the final payment. And you can see here how n was just 1 because it was a single final payment. Okay, this is the value. This is the value at 6 months. Okay, and this here is the value after 20 more payments. Okay, which we then put in as the PV for the last one. And so the 21st payment is $469. So that's going to go into our calculation up here as well. So $469.84. Okay, so that's how much our total repayments are. And to work out interest, we take that away from the principal, which was 15,000. So if I go to my calculator now, and I type all of this in, it's going to take a little while. So 6 times 350 plus 20 times 700 plus 469.84, and that is taken away from, and then we take away the 15,000, and the difference is 1,569, and that's the interest in scenario 1. Scenario 2 will be slightly more straightforward. Okay, scenario 2 is where the payments stay as 350. So this is a much simpler calculation. We're going to go right back to the basics. We're going to have our finance solver. We don't know how long the loan is. 8%. 350 is the 15,000 is the principal there. Minus 350 is the payment. FV is 0. And we just need to know how many payments it's going to be. So if we hit enter there, it's going to be 50.6 payments. So again, there's going to be a final payment calculation here. So it takes 50 and a bit payments, 51 payments. So 51 lots. And let's work out, so 50 payments of 350. And then final payment, which always has to be a separate little calculation, will be after the 50th payment. So let's delete all that and go 50 and hit enter for FV. So we're owing, after the 50th payment, we owe $222.40. So not very much owing. So it's definitely not a whole payment that we're going to have to do. Okay, so that's left owing after 50th payment. And so the final bit we have to do is copy and paste in that, Control-C, and paste that in here, Control-V, delete that, make it into one payment. We don't know what PMT is, that's the whole point. And we want FV to be 0 at the end of this. So how much is it going to take to pay off that principal? and it's only $1 extra on top of that, so it's 223. So that's going to have to get factored in when we work out the interest. The final payment equals $223.88, and that's going to get factored in to our interest calculation. So the interest is going to be 50 lots of 350 plus 223.88 take away 15,000, and that's going to give us the interest for the scenario number 2. 50 lots of 350 plus 223.88 minus 15,000 gives us 2723.88. 2723 interest. And the question, if we go back to it, asks for the difference in the interest. How much less interest is there? So we need to find the difference of the two. So finally, we're going to get 2723.88, and we're going to take the other scenario, so 1569.84. And the difference is the answer to the question. So after all of that calculation, we found out that they would have saved $1,000 by the whole end of the loan. Okay, so the answer is has to be written with the $sign, difference in interest. Okay, so that's how you work out interest for different scenarios.